Only have 15 minutes to work out? Well, don't sweat it. There's a new study out that shows that is enough time to stay healthy, especially if you are fast walking. We're going to talk this morning about a study that's out in the American Journal of Preventive Medicine that suggests just 15 minutes of walking briskly can have huge health benefits, the same as, in fact, hours of moderate movement. The study tracked the progress of more than 85,000 participants over 16 years, and boy, it found they were striding toward better health and longer life. So that was positive news to our ears, and we have Dr. Samir Gupta in to talk about all of that. He's a respirologist in Toronto and, of course, affiliated with the University of Toronto Department of Medicine. Welcome back. Good to see you this morning. This is great because we know, walking's good as a key. You can find ways to stay healthy and live longer. Physical activity is so important to doing that. This is such an easy way to do it.
It is.
What caught your eye in the research?
Yeah, so, walking is something we all do.
Right.
We don't all necessarily have the time for a gym membership and going to the gym. And so this, I think, is probably a relief for a lot of people that you can get these benefits with walking. There are many studies showing that walking is one of the forms of exercise that would confer those benefits that we've talked about with exercise. But this tells us that you need a little bit less time than the typical. A lot of times we talk about 150 minutes a week of moderate threshold activity. That's about 20 minutes a day as being this magical cutoff. But we're learning that there is no magical cutoff, and this is one of the studies that supports this notion. Just in terms of the overall benefits, though, I think it's always worth mentioning because it's, to me, it's incredible. We have, we joke about it in medicine that imagine I had an intervention for you that would reduce your weight, improve your muscle and bone strength, reduce your cardiovascular risk, reduce your diabetes risk, and if you have diabetes, make you more insulin sensitive, reduce your sugars, reduce your risk of cancer, improve your cognitive function, help with your depression and anxiety, improve your immune function, and while you're doing all that, reduce your overall risk of death, right? You would tell me I'm selling you snake oil.
Oh, for sure.
And then I would say it's free, right? So what we have in our medical system here is very much a reactive way of doing things where something happens, we diagnose something, we give you a bunch of medicines, but we'd love to get to more of a preventative approach with exercise being sort of a cornerstone of prevention. I'd love to be able to prescribe a gym membership.
Yes.
Because you have all these benefits. But it doesn't have to be, as we're learning with the study. And
just get up off the couch. Just get up off this couch and get moving.
Regular, in your day-to-day activities, you can accrue some of those benefits. And we have other studies suggesting that less than that 20 minutes a day is sufficient. There are studies, there's a UK study showing that 6 to 9 minutes a day of high-intensity exercise is associated with better cognitive function. There's another study where people wore activity trackers, and they found that 3 times a day, if you did high-intensity exercise for 1 to 2 minutes, you had those same benefits in terms of cancer prevention, cardiovascular risk, and death as doing structured, regular exercise. So the dose and duration of exercise, we're still figuring those things out, but there probably isn't a magic 150 minutes a week type number. Less than that is still beneficial.
So this one was 15 minutes. It was walking, but it was the key. The key is the pace. It suggested fast walking or brisk walking. I mean, there were benefits in just walking.
Correct.
But sauntering, maybe not quite the same.
Yes.
A little bit more focused, a little bit more active involvement and all of that. And then the results were quite striking. Yeah.
So slow walking didn't give you the benefits. You needed that moderate pace, that fast walking, and the results suggested that there was about a 20% reduction in overall risk of death. So on par with what you see with longer exercise in some of the other studies. So people can incorporate this in their day-to-day lives, and whether it's fast walking, whether it's running upstairs, any opportunity you have, what we call the dose-response curve of exercise is very steep. The benefits come very early, before the 150 minutes, and then they do slow down. There's a diminishing return there, at least for cardiovascular risk, but it tells you that you can gain a lot of this early, and it probably goes back also to sort of from an evolutionary perspective. Cavemen didn't go to the gym 3 times a week. Cavemen had unexpected, unplanned bursts of activity when they're running after prey or running from a predator. So we're designed for that, and that's what our system benefits from.
That's so interesting. The other thing, we've often talked about this, how certain things negatively affect lower socioeconomic status or various cultural groups in the society. In fact, this is something that's open and available to all. So it was found to have disproportionate benefits within low-income families for Black families as well, which was an interesting part of the subset of the study group.
Where it was, the study was mostly in that low-income southeastern United States, Black families, as you say, that haven't been as well studied. And again, it suggests that these benefits are there. And they're there with this, this free form of exercise and this, this free intervention. You don't have to take a pill. You don't have to go see the doctor. You don't even need a gym membership. Well,
one of our members of our team was telling us about a family member who's lost nearly 90 pounds just by walking and watching what she eats. A little bit careful there. 90 pounds and much better.
No Ozempic?
No Ozempic, no. But speed walking in nature for the, I would say, double psychological benefits. I like all of that as well. Well, that's great advice today. Although it's a little hot for a fast walk.
Today's hot.
Maybe not today, but
Indoor walk.
Exactly. Thanks a lot, Dr. Gupta. Appreciate it as always. See you next week.